In a previous video, I mentioned that you needed to be going at least 230 kilometers an hour when skydiving down to the ground in PUBG in order to achieve the greatest parachute boost to the ground possible. Now I got a lot of comments with some conflicting opinions. One person said, "It's 233 and up, not 230. That's completely false info." Another person said, "To get the fast drop, you don't have to be over 230 kilometers an hour. You just need to have zero horizontal movement." A third person commented, "It's got to be 234 kilometers an hour to get the full drop." Another person said, "Drop velocity is incorrect, dude. The speed you open your parachute at is relatively unimportant. It's the angle you're diving at that determines getting the faster chute." This person said, "You are so bad." And another one, "Thanks for the info, but you have a terrible voice for audio." Wait, how did all these get in here? Anyway, it's time to test this out. I messed around with it quite a bit, and it's very true that the speed you're falling at is relatively unimportant, just like that commenter said, and it's the angle that is the key. You can achieve the maximum boost to the ground when pulling your parachute even without the 230 kilometers per hour and above, and here's how to do it. Unless you are already diving straight down to the ground and reaching that max velocity of 234 kilometers an hour, you'll want to pull back on the left thumbstick a few seconds before your player is going to pull his chute, and I have some examples here that'll show you when I do it correctly, so you can kind of see when you need to pull back on that left thumbstick in order to stop your horizontal movement. Once you pull back and you feel you've stopped moving forward horizontally, which usually you only need to pull back for a second or so, you need to then angle your camera straight down by pushing the right thumbstick up, and also push your left thumbstick up to make sure your player is going to dive straight to the ground. Now this may take some practice, but if done correctly and with enough time to angle yourself straight down, you'll get a boost to the ground and will land before anyone else that didn't perform this trick. As you can see in the examples, the drop I had where I reached max velocity of 234 kilometers an hour had the same parachute boost as the drop where I deployed the parachute at a velocity of 229. On both of those examples, I reached an initial parachute velocity of 139 kilometers an hour. In another example, I had a velocity of 226, but reached a parachute velocity of 140, which is even better than the ones before. In my final test, I dove at 194 and reached a parachute velocity of 136, which is pretty close to the best velocity I've found before. Now some might argue that, going straight to the ground at 234 kilometers an hour is always the best bet because you're going to spend less time in the air and you'll definitely land in the fastest time possible. And you would be correct about that, but at times you need to travel longer distances if you're trying to get to different locations on the map. If you have a particular place in mind that you want to land, the plane might not be passing straight over that every single time. And in fact, it's not going to because the flight path of the plane is random, so you never know if you're going to actually be able to get where you want to go. But what you can do is travel horizontally for a long distance, and then once you feel like you are close enough, pull back on the left thumbstick, and then go straight down with the right thumbstick and the left thumbstick, which will make your character dive straight to the ground with zero horizontal movement, and you will get that initial parachute boost which will get you to the ground faster than other players that did not perform the trick. This will allow you to get to the ground first, get that gun, and hopefully get the kill if somebody's nearby. I hope this video clears some things up. I did make the mistake in my last video, and I appreciate the people that did take some time to leave those comments and teach me a thing or two about the game. This game has a lot of quirks and a lot of hidden things in it that just might not be so obvious. But if you did learn something from this video, I know that I did. If you found it useful, please hit the like button. It definitely helps out the channel. And consider subscribing for more content like this. I have another tips and tricks video in the works. But until then, have a good one.